Most of the NASCAR races seen on television are those run on the big mile and 2.5-mile super speedways. But when following the circuit, you find that these rebels run all kinds of races on all kinds of tracks. We thought you'd like to see them go on a half-mile track. Well, we chose Bristol because it's perhaps the fastest high-banked oval in the country. For the spectators, well, there's a thrill on every lap. For the drivers, 500 times around this one is the most grueling, exhaustive test on the circuit.
Another sellout crowd of 34,700 race fans greeted us in the little mountain town of Bristol, Tennessee. It was the Southeastern 500, and all the Grand National stars of NASCAR were here to run for a chunk of the $37,875 purse. The high banks make Bristol perhaps the fastest half-mile track in the country. The drivers consider 500 laps on this course to be the most strenuous on the circuit. Richard Petty will experiment with power steering on his Plymouth for the first time. Most of the other drivers have gone to lighter weight helmets connected to underarm lanyards to ease neck fatigue. Bobby Allison pushed his Chevrolet around these high banks at a qualifying speed of 106.874 miles per hour to gain fast time and the pole position. The number 43 Plymouth of Richard Petty starts second alongside Allison. Then it's Bobby Isaac in a Dodge and Benny Parsons driving a 70 Mercury. Leroy Yarborough and Cuckoo Marlin fill out the third row. All cars are holding position well now as they pour out of the fourth turn and down for the green flag. There it is, and they're off. Out of the gate, the battle starts early as Allison and Petty are locked up for the lead. At the end of the first lap, Allison fights off the Petty Plymouth and grabs the number 1 spot. That's the first casualty of the race. In the third lap, George Altidy loses his Dodge in the fourth turn, spins onto the apron, and heads for pit road. There's no yellow flag, and the race continues. Now Bobby Isaac closes the gap on Allison with Petty hanging back in the third spot. It's Chevy, Dodge, Plymouth. Uh-oh, Dave Boggs just blew his Dodge in the third turn, but he hangs on and wheels it into the pits. On the same lap, here's another blown engine. This time, it's the number 85 Chevrolet driven by Ronnie Daniel. With 2 engines blown and oil on the racetrack, the first yellow. After 19 laps under the yellow, the field is back on the track and ready for the restart. Through the third turn, Cuckoo Marlin leads with Allison pushing him hard. Allison works him over high and low through every turn. Leroy has the third spot with Benny Parsons running fourth. Finally, out of the back chute onto turn 3, Allison gets the nose of his Chevy underneath Marlin and powers through to regain his lead. With Bobby Allison's Coca-Cola Chevrolet starting to stretch the pack, Isaac and Marlin are dueling over second. Leroy Yarborough is fourth and Benny Parsons fifth. In turn 2, Bobby Isaac slides his Dodge Charger beneath Marlin to pass and take a firm hold on the number 2 position. Once past Marlin and out of heavy traffic, Bobby Isaac turns it on in a bid to catch Allison. But he'll really have to move. That Chevy has a quarter of a lap lead, and Petty is coming on. Down the back chute, Richard catches Cuckoo Marlin, and there's a new battle for third place. That Plymouth and Chevy look like they're glued together. On the 130th lap, Dave Marcus pits his Dodge with an overheating Hemi. They check it out and find broken radiator hoses and park the car behind the wall. Here's the leader, Bobby Allison, in for fuel and right side rubber. Junior Johnson and the crew get him back on the track in 23 seconds. But during this stop, Bobby Isaac takes over the lead. Isaac's lead is short-lived because he, too, has to make the rubber and fuel stop. Tire wear starts to take its toll on this fast half-mile track as one after another the cars are forced to pit. Here's Cuckoo Marlin. Petty crew does a quick job on Richard's STP Plymouth. With the leaders serviced and back on the track, it's Allison in front, Bobby Isaac second, Richard Petty third, and Yarborough fourth. There's another spinner. Richard Childress, driving a Chevy, lost it in the third turn, spun all the way around, and decides to pit for new tires. Meanwhile, Bobby Allison continues his race for the checkered flag. His Monte Carlo is wound tight and handling perfect. With only a few laps left, Petty wraps a slower car, crushing his fender in against the left front tire. It begins to smoke. He gets the black flag, and Richard will be forced to pit. Maurice Petty and the crew work frantically to bend the twisted steel out of the wheel well so they can replace the tire. The old one is shredded. In the run for the wire, it's Allison first, Bobby Isaac second, Petty third, Yarborough fourth. There's the white flag. One more lap, and Bobby Allison celebrates tonight. Here he is off the high bank fourth turn, onto the front straightaway for the checkered flag, and Bobby Allison puts a Chevrolet into the Bristol record books. Winner of the Southeastern 500. Herb Nabb and the Junior Johnson crew are already in victory lane, waiting for the arrival of their car and their driver. It was a beautiful Sunday drive for Bobby Allison. He picked up a check for $7,000, the trophy, and was met by a bevy of beauties. But even more important, he started a Chevrolet down the comeback trail. But then that grin kind of tells the whole story.